Hi, I'm doing day 192 and 193, the taking things personality, the fear dimension, and I wrote about it within facing another in conflict. One blog was just opening the point up, writing about it, writing about the fear that was within me, and then doing self-forgiveness and self-commitment statements in the next blog, day 193. So what I realized within the writing is that this fear was here within me when I faced this person based on this belief of myself. And it was a judgment of myself as inferior to this person. So immediately when I was confronted and I knew I was in the wrong because not in the wrong, but I knew what she was saying was true because I was late. I was late for a few nights, and this created a fear within me because I knew I was in the inferior position because within myself I immediately saw it as a point of competition. So it's interesting because we are so pushed into competition in everything we do. I mean, it starts as early as, kindergarten when you have to, you are in a circle and, everyone goes around and who can say the ABCs, who can name this, who can name that. And it's always who is going to do it first, who's going to know, and then you kind of gauge yourself within the other kids and where you are, and you either feel good about yourself because you know the answer and you're in the top of the class, or you feel bad about yourself because you don't know the answer and you're like, why don't I know the answer? What's wrong with me? So being in this point of competition and self-judgment goes hand in hand, and within that it creates a fear within you because you fear being seen as inferior. Like within myself, it's a fear of being seen as inferior and having that person open me up within conflict and being vulnerable and being, vulnerable in a sense of she has kind of a point on me, such as me being late and me feeling inferior to this point that she knows about me that is true about me. And so looking at within the mind, looking at within ego, looking at it within competition, and so within myself it created this fear dimension, created this whole point within taking it personally, this her coming and approaching me, initially taking it personally as a personal attack, and then going into this fear of being vulnerable, being seen as inferior to her. So within myself it went, the back chats activated, thoughts activated, and that's what I wrote on in the next blogs. And the back chat fueled the emotions, the emotional bodies of energy as anger, and then through the anger I lived it out in my reality, and that point of, the back chat justifying my actions of going into anger and eventually being rude to her in the physical was all created based on this fear of being exposed and being vulnerable to, and belief that if I'm seen as inferior, then I'm weak and I'm vulnerable to her attack, and being seen as less than her. So it's all a point of self-interest, really, of not wanting to be seen as weak and vulnerable to, or being seen as less than her within my own mind. So within going to the back chat and creating, thoughts of spitefulness and blame towards her about just like automatic things that just came up in my mind to justify my actions of blame towards her, and really just distracting the point of having to really face her and face myself within the consequence I created of her having to confront me to, straighten me out and get me there on time. So instead of, stopping this fear immediately, stopping the point of taking it personally in that initial starting point of separation, realize the point that she is an equal to me. We're equal here. It's not a personal attack on me. It's nothing personal. It's just a point of correcting what is not working and what is not working for her. And kind of a point of redirection towards me with her confronting me to say, you're not being considerate of me, change your living behavior. There's going to be consequences. I'm going to confront you again. So it's kind of just, instead of taking it personally, just realize the points in the physical and, considering the other as equal and say, okay, it's just a point of correction for me that I have to leave earlier. I have to consider this other person. I have to consider that they have a life, they have things to do, and stop my self-interest of just wanting to take it, easy and just, not take it easy, but just like do what I want to do and just mope around and be, kind of go at my own schedule, like not being considerate of the other. So in the commitments, I walk the points of stopping the fear in those initial moments of like feeling inferior and judging myself. So stopping that judgment of, me being inferior, and let go of those points, let go of the judgment, let go of the fear. Don't participate in it. Stop giving that any kind of attention and focus on what she's actually saying to me. Focus on the words that are being spoken to me and focus on the physical in what I can say to alleviate the situation, direct the situation to what is best for all, and solve the problem there, then, now. Just like, don't go into all sorts of mind bullshit. Just be here, correct the point that is the consequence that is being faced in that moment, and, do what's best. And the next week I was on time, and I'm going to be on time for the duration of this job, because now I realize, okay, I was being considerate, and I'm just going to correct that point, and now I'm going to be early and consider her and, treat her as an equal, as I would want to be treated. So just walking, practical points, remaining here in reality, in the physical, through the breath, using the breath to become stable within the activations of emotions and the feelings and the fear and the self-judgment. Breathe through them. Do not allow myself or accept myself to participate in them by thinking, following the thoughts or living into the activation of the anger, for instance, and breathe through that, and, even remove myself from the situation until I breathe through the energy, and then come back and speak, or wait, breathe through it, allow it to settle down, and then the next week approach her and, direct the points, which I did. So, excuse me. So that was a cool point to walk through and realize what I was doing, and I'll continue on within this point of facing conflict and the personality that activated as taking it personally, walking through each dimension that was activated and triggered within this point of making it personal. Alright, thanks for listening, and see you next time.